But coming up first, it's official. The governor signs off on a financial emergency in Wayne County. So let's get right to it. And our contributors, Nolan Finley of the Detroit News and Stephen Henderson of the Detroit Free Press. Gentlemen, it's good to see you as always. So we start off with the financial emergency in Wayne County, which is no surprise. This is not breaking news. This is just kind of the official stamp as they go along the process. But Nolan, you wrote something very interesting about how this financial emergency might lend to some moving around of the shells and some finances with the state and give them a little more clout to see what they'd like to see happen in Wayne County.
Well, one of the things that has to be settled in this is there's got to be an answer to the Wayne County jail mess. That thing's sitting there unfinished, no money to finish it, costs of $1.2 million a month in debt service and security and maintenance. They've got to come up with an answer for it. The state has wanted for a long time to see that complex move to Mound Road. And you have Gilbert now, the Gilbert organization offering to buy the Guardian building where the county offices are, a parking deck that goes with it, and this jail site for about $150 million. That gives them some seed money to start the work at Mound Road. They can't find any money anywhere to finish the jail site, so I don't know what they do. I think that's the most logical, likely outcome of this.
But how much money would it take to outfit the Mound Road site and get it up to par, and how much money would it take to finish the jail project? Aren't you looking at roughly the same amount?
You're looking at about the same amount, $400 million. It'd take about $300 million to finish the jail, but they're also committed to fixing the Frank Murphy Hall of Justice and the juvenile facility, which is going to cost another $100 million. So it puts the price tag at about the same. And you can do all of that at Mound Road. It's not ideal from the county's point of view, maybe from the public's point of view, but it's a solution. And there doesn't seem to be any other solutions anywhere near the table.
All right, so pretty interesting, Stephen. You want a little bit of help from the state? Well, then maybe the state will exert a little influence on how they like to see things done with Wayne County.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the attachment to the Mound Road facility is. I mean, from a practical standpoint, there are a lot of drawbacks to putting it there. That's too far from the courts that are usually connected with jails. It's also a more remote site for people to have to go visit people in jail. I mean, there's a reason that most jails are in city centers if they're inside cities. They're whether it's a convergence of highways and other things like that. But there's no money to finish the one downtown. I mean, they can't go and borrow what they would need to do what we all agreed was the best plan, at least for the jail and the sort of court center downtown. So I'm not sure that there's much other choice. I do think that the question of whether it should be on that site downtown also is something worth revisiting, because downtown has changed so much since we made that decision. But it's a mess, and so it's one of those situations where we made a big enough mess that there's no ideal way out of it. This might be the only one. And
the plan the state would like to see is move everything, courts and everything, out there, so that
it's just the middle of nowhere.
So that they are together, or you could do video conferencing, which is more and more common today. But there's this thinking of that, as you said, it doesn't belong downtown. You could do so much more with that space, and in the end, you might have easier access at Mound Road in terms of parking, congestion, what have you, for the public. It is a little hard to get to.
All right, before we leave the financial emergency, all along Warren Evans has said, you know what, hey, we need some help from the state, and I think a consent agreement will be the best possible thing. Do we know that, in fact, that Wayne County would not get an emergency manager?
I don't think Wayne County is going to get an emergency manager. This is a more cordial process than what Detroit went through. Wayne County is volunteering for this process. What Warren Evans is looking for specifically is some leverage with the unions. And if he can hold that emergency manager hammer over their heads and say, look, make a deal or it's going to get a lot worse, he would like them to believe that emergency management is a possibility, I'm sure.
All right.